my God, I'm taken. Sorry.
I'm taken. Move aside.
I didn't specify by who. Like I said, ski trip, age difference.
It's the boyfriend.
Everyone's
who lives
like,
in
what?
Another apartment.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Chemical X. This is episode 20. So this is like big 2-0. It's our 20th birthday. We're almost legal. Hi, Rachel. Welcome to the podcast.
How do you feel knowing you're on the episode number 20?
I was just like mesmerized by this intro, and then it's like, boom.
Then it's on you.
I know. I'm like, how did I get so lucky to be on
Are
this
you 20? Is that the reason we have you on here?
You know what? I'm just shy of over 20.
Just over 20.
Just over 20.
Few minutes over 20.
You know what?
You're like minutes,
Barely
many minutes.
Legal.
Barely. You're like just scraping by legality. And I said barely legal, but the drinking age here is fucking 18. So
It's true. It's
I don't know
true.
if that
I'm barely
went...
over 21. Guys, thank you for thinking that I'm younger.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
This is obviously the Young Girls podcast. We have a 20-year-old on today, Rachel, for our 20th episode. Ooh, welcome. So Alessia and Rachel actually know each other from before. I feel like this is first of all, I feel like I'm doing a couples interview.
Well,
the way I'm doing.
literally.
Rachel and
it really
Alessia know
was.
each other for a while.
No.
How did you guys meet?
It was love
How did the
at
big
first
day
sight
happen?
for Alessia.
Are we
It
married?
was not love at first sight.
Did she put a ring on it? How many kids do you guys have? 20? Is that why you're on the podcast?
So, do you want to say how we know each other, or do I just take the
Was
lead
it
on
love
this
at
one?
first sight?
It
Or
was-
did it take like a couple of fucks?
No, it took a look.
It took
Took a
couple
look,
of
a look, a
days.
look.
It took a couple of business days.
Yeah, literally.
Before that love was delivered.
And I'll
So it wasn't
explain that.
Amazon Prime. It wasn't an Amazon Prime kind of love.
So how Rachel and I know each other is when I was working at my old job. We had somebody coming to, I guess you could say, audition for the sales rep job.
Audition.
Audition.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So we had a job casting, and Rachel rang that doorbell. She said, "I'm here for the job. I don't want it, but I'm here."
You guys had a doorbell at work?
We did.
Were you in a
didn't have
basement
many
of a
things.
house? Like
We
I
didn't
don't
have
know.
many things, but a doorbell was one.
No intercom though. It was a doors open.
Yeah, when I drove here and I came to pick up, I picked up Rachel on our way here. We passed by it and I went, "Oh God, those
Yeah.
were not the days, but also the days, if you know what I mean."
At one point, we were working there, and we actually didn't even have a front door. Like, someone actually crashed through the glass, and it was just like, we hope that you guys are good enough citizens that you're not going to break in.
Was it the Kool-Aid man who crashed through the glass?
I don't know, but I'm about to have an orgasm with those text messages.
So how do Rachel and I know each other? So we actually work together. I would say she started about a year after I was there. And I remember you started on a Wednesday. And I was like, "Who's this bitch walking through the doors?" You always give your dirtiest looks when somebody walks in. But I also had to be the girl giving water. I'm like,
But it's also fun when you see another young person walking in.
I
You're
know.
like,
No,
bitch,
I
I
walked
see
in
you.
and actually, she's like underestimating the whole situation because I walked in and she was so nice and she was offering me water and I was
Yeah,
like,
I was offering you
she
water.
was one of the reasons I like took this job. I was like, there's
My God,
these
are you in love
other
with
young
me?
girls.
Oh my God, so this was love at
So
first
this
sight.
was love at first sight.
You said business days,
Well,
but
no,
I'm
I
seeing
think it grew
instant.
into that, but
I'm seeing instant ramen noodles right now.
But to get to it, you started working there on the Wednesday, and then after Wednesday, when somebody first starts at a job, you don't really get to speak to them. You kind of just like, "Hi, how are you? If you need anything." Anyway, so
It's very like we all love our job. Like
yeah, and
don't
she was
worry.
also in another room. So I kind of just like gave her 2 days. She started on a Wednesday. I'll never forget that because on Saturday I had dyed my hair and I went from blonde back to brown with extensions. So already Rachel being familiar.
You weren't Alessia anymore.
I wasn't Alessia
You came
anymore.
out a whole
I
new
went by
person.
the name Aled Deandra. So
You said no. I go by Deandra. Actually,
Yeah.
Alessia can't come to the phone right
so
now.
I see her at this party on Saturday. Never bumped into Rachel in my entire life. Bump into her there. And I was with a couple of friends. I was single at the time. I was taking shots. I was slurping oysters. It was a good day.
she could pause that. I was slurping
Yeah, she had to clarify. She had to say, "What was I slurping?" Well, let's throw in an oyster. What else can you slurp?
And there Rachel was. I go up to her and I was like, "Hey, Rachel." I'm like, "Oh my god, we work together." She's looking at me like confused. She's like, "Who is this girl?" Like, I started on Wednesday, bitch. Give me a week.
She's like, "I know a short-haired blonde bitch that was in the office. I don't know you."
Yeah, and she's like, "It's Saturday. Like, don't bother me on my Saturday. Like, technically, I don't know anyone from the office on Saturday."
She's making me out to be so mean. I'm really not.
But
Rachel's nice.
Yeah, so I go
Disclaimer.
I go up to her and she was with her boyfriend at the time, but I did not know that it was her boyfriend, and he was like a bit of an older man. So I was like, "Hey, Rachel, you're here with your dad?" I can't remember if it was dad or grandfather, but I'm pretty sure it was dad. And she's like, "No, he's my boyfriend." So just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how our friendship started, I basically called her boyfriend her dad, and I did not show up to work on Monday because I was so embarrassed.
We had the best sex ever that night.
Wait, you and Alessia, or you and your dad? Apparently,
Me and my yeah, he was
grandfather or
just like,
dad.
"Yeah,
Not sure.
Your new friends think I'm young."
So he's more towards the age of a grandfather.
He said, "I usually get grandpa. This time I got dad." He's like,
"I could
"Babe."
be your father. That's so hot."
He's like, "I fucking picked up the champagne. Let's go." Fuck.
He's like, "Your girlfriend's buying you a drink. I own this place."
Oh my god.
But yeah, so then we started working together, and then eventually I had to show up to work, guys. I couldn't just keep avoiding Rachel. And now we look back and we always think, we're like, "Oh my god, how funny was that day that like I actually called your ex-boyfriend a fucking
dad." That is one thing that just sticks with you forever.
Where do
you go nowhere?
Yeah.
You walk out the
apparently
club
did
and
best
into
friends.
apparently, like, you guys said dad, but sisters is what we could be. But no, I feel like that's the awkwardest thing. I'm so scared to accidentally do that to somebody, or like somebody do that to me. Like, even sometimes I always think, like, sometimes I go out eat with my dad for dinner and I'm like, when they come and they're going like, "Is it gonna be one bill?" I'm like, "Hold on a minute, this is actually my dad, okay? So don't get any fucking ideas. Like, calm down."
What's crazy is I thought that too for the longest time, but then I got a nose job, and I was like, if they think he's my dad, that's a fucking insult.
You're like, I didn't pay all this fucking money.
Thousands and thousands of dollars for you to think that that's my father. He, as far as you're concerned, he's paying to sleep with me.
And that is exactly what they should be thinking. Oh my god, there is no split bills when they're coming to your table. It is one bill only, and it's being passed to him.
Yeah.
Daddy or not. Fuck. Love it. Love it. Love it. But those are my favorite. Like, I love when I worked at the restaurant, which I have no job now at the restaurant because COVID. When I worked there, it's always that awkward moment where you're going, okay, brother, sister, gay couple, lesbians, father and son. I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
When it's a girl and guy, it's a bit easier, no? Because you could kind of gauge. But when it's like...
It's always awkward. Like, it could
Right.
be a first date and they want to split and it's like, you never want to be in that moment where you have to like witness people going one bill and then the other one goes split bills. Like, you don't want to have to live that. You want to disappear when that happens. And it's just like, okay, guys, I'll let you figure it out. Or the people that are both handing you their credit cards and you're like, who am I pissing off tonight? You know? Who's beating me up in the back after because I didn't take their card? Like, come on.
So yeah, I feel like we have so many topics we kind of want to talk about today, but for like a split second, do you want to talk about the brand you kind of started that we're all wearing over here?
Yeah, I know. I think we're all dressed in Lone Muse, which is my vintage company. I sell vintage clothing.
Guys, if you can't tell, Rachel's a little drug.
I feel like you're pausing for like emphasis.
Vintage. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the girls right now are both dressed in Lone Muse, as am I, which is my vintage company. I curate and sell vintage clothing, which can be found on Etsy, on multiple different selling platforms, but you can see it all on Instagram if you follow @Lone Muse Vintage.
Plug it in.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description so
Plug
that
it in.
people can follow you easily and snatch up them goodies.
Yeah. And I actually feel like you were one of the first people that I know that started selling on Etsy. Like, that I actually knew. I feel
That's
like
a face, like, I don't agree.
No, because she's been doing
No.
it for, like, more than a couple years.
I really have, but I never... It's not that I didn't take it seriously. It was that was always like a side hobby thing, and only recently have I made it more of like a full-time thing. I was always busy with work and stuff, and that was my like escape. My passion was like finding cool pieces, reselling them to people that like really were looking for those pieces and enjoying them or whatever. So
I'll never forget, we finished work and Rachel's like, I gotta go bring these boxes to the...
So now
I have my shipment to do in my trunk.
So basically what you're saying is you lost your job because of COVID and now you're focusing on your Etsy. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm really focusing on that. I mean, listen, it's like I'll never admit to that. Am I focusing on that? Because I'm really open to other opportunities right now.
I mean, do you know like the girl who started Nasty Gal?
Yeah.
Like she literally started from selling vintage clothes online, which
they
is
made a
great.
movie about it.
Yeah.
Girl Boss, right?
Yeah. She has a book and everything. So you never know. You take Etsy seriously, and damn, you might just be running a fucking multi-million-dollar company.
You know what? It's so true. If I start waking up at a normal hour,
like 1 p.m.
I might start getting shit done
instead of sleeping in until 2.
I love my
crazy
sleep.
what it is.
If I could sell sleep, I would be rich.
I would buy it. I would give you all my money. If sleep was a drug, you're like, there is probably a drug that makes you sleep, yes.
Tried and tested.
But no, I'm a sleeper. Like, I'm so not a morning person. If I could get in those
same.
2 extra minutes, I don't care about makeup anymore. Like, I'll do anything. I'll do my makeup in the car on the highway. Just to sleep
I'm like,
I will not do my makeup.
I'll put like dryer sheets in my shirt just to not wash my pits. I love
I've
sleep.
done like a nice makeup look like at night, and then I've just like slept. Have you ever done that? Like
No, I've never done that.
Don't sleep on your face, and you're just like, I'm ready to go tomorrow. I used to go clubbing until like, I literally used to go clubbing and get home at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would have to work at 9 a.m. and I kid you not, I would just like wipe the smudge.
No.
And I
but
would,
you know those girls who can actually
and I would just
sleep,
cough in it.
who can sleep with their makeup on?
My sister.
And
That's
then
one of
wake
them.
up in the morning and their makeup looks the exact same.
That's what I'm saying.
I wake up in the morning and I actually look like a rat.
No. My eyelashes are all of a sudden a mustache. It's
Yeah.
like my sister wakes up and she's like, oh my God, I slept in the same makeup for 3 days. And she's like, there's not like a pore on her face.
Perfect skin, like
Perfect.
all these fucking products that they say using. Honestly, my skin is the best when I don't wash it as much. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's just about doing the coffin sleep where you sleep like you're dead.
I can't. I sleep
just look
face
peaceful.
down.
Yeah.
Same way I have sex. So
Oh,
I wake up in the same position.
Well, if you're falling asleep while you're having sex, then it must not be that exciting. You're like, wow, 8 a.m. That finished? That was over? That's done? When did that end? Shit.
Oh my God,
Okay.
hilarious.
Okay, I didn't. I don't feel like face down in the pillow is like a very intimate position.
It's the best. Let's be honest.
I mean, yes, but then it's also like, bitch, I'm pretty. Like, turn me around. Like, I remember when people used to be like,
No, see,
yeah,
I'm
I love
pretty,
doggy
but I'm
style.
also tired.
So you get the best of both
That's why you gotta do like the
Yeah.
spoon. Like, you gotta do like the.
Okay, well, I've never had a dick that long, but okay.
They're
I've had attempting that, and it's like, babe, at this point, it's like, I love you for who you are. Let's just
Your
pick
personality
one.
is so big. I don't need anything else to be big.
But yeah, one of the reasons we wanted to bring Rachel on the Chemical X podcast is I feel like she has so many interesting date stories. I don't know if you guys are aware.
Veteran dater.
I don't know if you guys are aware of seeking arrangements, but it's something that I feel like a lot of people know about. But I feel like Rachel will kind of take the lead on this.
What's seeking arrangement?
Well, yeah. Well,
Shut up, Veronica. You know what seeking arrangement
Yeah,
is.
like shut up. And if you're a girl and you say you don't know what it is, even if you haven't made an account, you know what it is.
You
so.
will after this podcast.
I'm sure everybody listening to this knows what it is. Bitch, don't be a liar, okay?
It's basically what it everyone thinks is the typical stereotypical young girl dating an older man, and he's paying her away, and she's just living her life.
It's basically the Tinder of sugar daddies.
Yeah.
But
honestly, I respect people who do it, because so many people go on dates that they're just like, ugh, I wasn't even into it. I went for the food. It's like, at that point, go on Seeking Arrangements and make money.
All of my friends were dating these guys that were like, that they would be like, I don't know, it was the worst date ever. I was like, well, at least I knew I was going into a bad date, but I had like, you know,
you had
$1,000 after whether I went on the date or not. That shit was in my direct deposit.
What's the most somebody's given you on a date?
I will tell you the most someone has given me for a date that
like
was
no sex involved, just
She's like,
which
okay,
is
gotta change
actually
the
my
amount
experience on there was like one guy in particular, like we can go into that story, but he was just so adamant about having dinner with a pretty girl and talking, and luckily enough I was able to like continue banter with him, and he would text throughout here and there, and I would go ooh when he would text, but at the same time I was like,
you weren't going ooh when that money hit your deposit.
I was going ooh when that money hit my account, like, you know, ooh, that direct deposit feels real good.
So what did he give you? How much did he give you?
Okay, so regularly, just week to week, which this was a few months, like randomly, every dinner date was like 500 cash, not including like
so just dinner,
other stuff.
So just dinner,
just dinner, but not including like, oh, we're going to a nice place, get an outfit or get a manicure for it or all that stuff.
And he just wanted to talk.
It was just like, let's just talk, and I'm like,
do you think
you're like
that desperate?
You're like, that's the only thing I know how to do.
Yeah, no, I'm like, no one can shut. People pay me to shut up. So this is people. Someone wants to pay me to talk to them. Oh
I
my
mean,
god,
I
my
think
friends
we found
don't
our
even
weekly
want
guest.
Sorry?
Honestly, I said I think we found our weekly guest. I would gladly have this guy on paying 500 to talk. I will talk.
Oh,
we can
my
have 3-hour
God.
episodes, 4-hour.
Yeah, I think like I've never really been on the site, but I do have friends who have been on it. Frankly, I've been their fucking managers. They were like, Alessia, can you take care of my account? Was your name Rachel when you were on, or were you K Cutie Pie 65?
Ew, nothing like that.
65.
I had a really sexy,
What was your
understated.
What was your name?
No, I can't because I still might use it.
Okay.
You can't give that away.
But I feel like everybody goes on that site, and correct me if I'm wrong. Well, since I was a manager on there, I feel like I could speak on behalf of my girls.
Your clients.
But everybody goes on there and they kind of just want that young guy who's rich, who's just gonna pay everything for them, but also not be embarrassed being seen with them.
Oh, no.
And I feel like there's a big
That's not where you
stereotype.
I'll
get the
tell
money.
you, the worst is if you go on there and you're expecting some good-looking 30-year-old to pay your way. Listen, we all want boyfriends. You're not like, I'm sorry. You're as close to finding that as at the dry cleaners as you are. Like, no, you have to be okay with dating men out of your age range and whatever. But to be honest, they expect less than a random guy you would meet in a club or at a bar or at whatever. I had some of the best experiences from that site than I did in like the real dating world.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay,
So tell
we
us, what was
want
your-
stories.
Well, what was like, first of all, what was your best, like, talk? Because I know with sites like that and like from experience, like there's just so many, a lot of the time, negative experiences.
I love
like,
that from experience.
No, but I mean, like, I just feel like in general, like it's always negative experiences
Yeah.
that everybody talks about. So like,
Yeah.
what's your best experience? Like, what's the time that you're like, yo, fucking premium account I'm about to buy. Like, I love this shit.
Well, I love that you just said, like, what's your best experience? And that's all. It really is what you go into feeling. If you're going into it being like, well, I just, like, I'm so uncomfortable. I just want this one shot.
Yeah,
thing.
that's a lot of...
I went into it confident, dating, having fun, not being in a relationship, knowing my value, feeling pretty, feeling like I knew where I was going in life, and blah, blah, blah. So I think I attracted that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had situations where it was like, okay, someone pitched me from this gym. Like random, like literally someone's like, go for dinner with me. And it's like, I'm a talkaholic. I will like gladly, anyone on the street, you want to have a conversation with me, blah, 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 blah. So
now that you're getting paid for it, it's like,
are you kidding
You
me?
said, bitch, sign
I'm
me
like,
up.
tell me more about your ex-wife. Tell me more about your.
Tell me more about your children.
Like, tell me more about your current wife. But
Tell me more about your children that are the same age as me, please.
yeah, but I do have to say there was this one time. There was a situation there. It was a similar thing. It was this guy that was just wanting to have these random dinners with me, and they were very like during the week, like at a normal like end of work hour would end before 9. Sayonara. See you next time. See you next week. At this point, here's.
Do they want to see me tomorrow?
Do they give you just an envelope like at the beginning or the end?
No. See, I wasn't a prostitute, so it was more.
It was more like PayPal.
No, it was.
Well, no, because my friends
like
have done it and they've gotten envelopes. So
I have never.
you're like, no, I'm just a little classier that way.
Yeah.
They
like,
send me
do
the
it
e-transfer.
through the e-transfer.
They send you the e-transfer before you even get
what's
there.
What's the answer to the
Yeah.
question?
No, so the answer is it was like e-transfer.
No, I mean, what's the question? What's the interact e-transfer question? We're big on interact e-transfer.
Oh shit! It was usually like whatever restaurant it was that night. Or
Oh, that's
whatnot.
so boring.
I wish I could give you something more. It was like, how many fingers do I like at my asshole?
Oh my god, that would be the best case scenario.
Yeah, no, it was nothing like that. I wish I would have been like, none. You're a pussy.
But when you first started going like on seeking arrangements, it was mostly just dinners, right?
I did it totally as in like just dating shitty guys, and a lot of my friends being like, I met this guy and I'm like, why are you all crying over men that don't matter? Or boys that are like breaking your hearts and shit? And I was like, no. And I just kind of went on in spite, which is probably not a good reason. But then I went on and I started thinking like, oh my God, these guys are like nicer than guys I would have met anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right. And I also do feel like you're an old soul, and like I feel like you connect
I
originally
totally
with
played off like my initial
like you're a 26-year-old living in like a 40-year-old body.
Alessia, we said she was
my
20.
body looks like I'm 70, but okay. No, but honestly, my first time that I was ever signed up was actually a gay friend of mine that put me on the site and signed me up. And
That's what they all say.
No, it really was. And he was like, like, I don't like it. And he got bored of it. And then I was like at home. I was like, hell yeah. I'm like talking to this guy. Oh,
Yeah. So did you like sleep with any of them?
Okay, so to bring it back to that last story, so this guy that was like during the week, one evening during the weeknight, we would have dinner together. The odd time it would skip, like, oh, he's out of town, or I'm like, oh, I have exams. Well, I wasn't fucking in school. I was
Who
at
needs
one
to be
point,
in school
but-
with those
no
e-transfers?
Yeah. So it was like, oh, okay, whatever. So that was still, and then at one point, it just became to the point, and I was like, no, like, this is not enough. I have investments I have to, like, put into. I have trips I want to make, and I want to make them now. No.
So you're like, those dinners didn't cover it up.
Yeah, and now I have to have dessert with the guy.
Oh my god, talk about
I didn't know I was the dessert, okay? No. So
I didn't know I was the
did
dessert.
at one point, I kind of like agreed to the situation. The truth was he my type? Absolutely fucking not. Was he a decent guy? Yeah.
Did he have a wife? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Did he have kids my age? Made me feel at home. I don't know. Listen.
Did you like just close your eyes and were you like just imagining the money after?
I couldn't close my eyes because we met at this hotel, and the time frame that he made this like we're meeting at a hotel thing, I thought it was just that like he wanted to change from work or something. So I thought I was meeting him there for a drink, but it didn't seem long enough within our reservation.
Silly, naive young girls. You're going into a hotel thinking he's
for a
just
drink.
changing. Meanwhile, she forgot to shave.
I walk in. I've shaved.
Well, depending what
He
area
pays
he's
me
from,
enough
he probably
at this point.
likes
I can afford a razor.
an electric one at that.
I
So you
walk
go-
in and I'm like, never have I walked in, even dating, like mostly dating someone, have I walked into like a hotel room that's so brightly lit because it's at noon on a Tuesday
Sketch.
that I walk in and I look at this guy who, you know, thought we were maybe going to meet there. We're going to have a cocktail together. He's never made the moves. And I kind of knew he would eventually at that point. He's getting a hotel room. So I walked
So
in.
you did know. You didn't think you were just getting a drink.
No. So I walk in. And we have lunch reservations in 20 minutes. Okay. So I walk in. And he's in his like dress shirt from the day with his tie on. But then he's in boxers, no pants, but socks on. You know those socks that they pull up like
No, I can't.
halfway to the calf, and you're like at that point you could have just worn pants.
They're like the blood pressure socks. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm literally like he's trying to get the blood flowing to his cock. That's why he's wearing those socks. It's got it. That's the only reason why. Or
He's
hate
trying to
yourself
help
so
out the
much.
Viagra that he just popped.
Listen, he's like, I just popped 3 Viagra. They're still melting under my tongue, pulling up the sock. Anyways, I walk in. He comes over to me as if we're in fucking like some romance novel. Meanwhile, I'm like a few inches taller than him. He puts his hand behind.
How old are we talking roughly?
This guy was.
I love how you say
in his
this
50s.
guy.
I think he was in his 50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, yeah, about in his 50s.
So he's probably in his like mid 50s,
So
roughly.
Rachel being an old soul of 40 and him
He was-
50.
he was young for me.
perfectly,
He was young for me.
Yeah.
He was young for me.
Anyway, so
Literally.
he puts his hand behind my neck, like the nape of my neck, behind my ear. Very romantic. Aside from like if someone's shorter than you, they're actually just like dragging you down. So I was like, is this when I die? And then he softly kisses me on the cheek, which I'm sorry, girls, but if you're familiar with like men, it's better that someone just shoves their tongue down your throat than softly kisses you
Especially-
on the cheek. What are you, my actual daddy?
No.
I can't deal.
I would have been like cringy.
No. I honestly think he like rubbed his hand up my leg and said, "Oh, you have goosebumps," and it wasn't for the good reasons. No, it was like I have goosebumps. Like I'm about to jump out of the window.
Like, what floor are we on? Will it hurt? Please.
Yeah, no,
make it
like
hurt.
I hope we're on the highest floor because I
Yeah.
need to die right now. So he was like so softly loving, which at this point I was just like, oh god, like
Oh my
worse than
God.
that's worse than like
That's
being,
worse.
It's worse.
That's more old manny than just
yeah.
ravaging you. Like
It's worse than it's like being romantic in this situation that's not romantic is worse than just being like I want to fuck. Like at
Yeah,
that point,
yeah.
it's like let me put my face in the pillows again.
yeah, you're
But,
like, let me
now
go back
you
to
wanna
my
make
original.
love to me.
No.
You want to make love to me?
Ew.
Shit. Anyways,
So she stood there.
so
like
I
a
let him make
selfish-
love to me. I basically
so
so
he
I let
wanted
him
to
make
make-
love to me, and meanwhile I'm just like thinking like, babe, like this is paying for your last Europe trip. Like you're gonna have the best time of your life. This shit's it's this guy, whatever. You can fucking ghost him. Just make sure it's after that transfer. It's
So how
like-
much did he give you?
So he's kissing my neck, the
Unless
sweat
it's your
dripping.
accountant.
The,
I've
I
never
know.
heard so much
I'm the
number
manager.
talk.
the sweat dripping down his bald head into my forehead.
Oh my
Okay.
I'm just fucking with you guys, but I'm actually not.
I feel like 50
I
is
turn
still
around.
like
What's
you're
on the
okay.
TV? Because I'm hearing something in the background. He's watching Ellen
No, I can't.
DeGeneres.
can't.
He's watching Ellen. So I walk in. I don't even know. Is he into lesbians? Is he into what? I don't know what the fuck he's into. Is he gonna halfway through? He's gonna be like, call your friends. Like I'm literally like I'm in the room. This guy's making sweet love to my face
And watching Ellen.
Watching Ellen in the background, drinking his moe with his pants off.
At least he did it classy, guys.
He kept the tie on.
He kept the tie on and he drank Moet, so we know he's.
I'll never drink it again in my life.
But wait, did he offer you champagne?
Oh, of course. He was like, hey,
Did you
have
down
a seat.
3?
I'm just watching Ellen.
My God.
Actually, I've never had a blowjob during Ellen. Do you want to be my first?
Oh my God. I remember when.
He said I love lesbians and that's why I turned on Ellen.
No, like I remember when my friend was like, hey, like I really want to make money, and she was like really considering seeking arrangements, but people don't understand that, like, if you want to go on Seeking Arrangements, it's a full-time job. This shit doesn't take 1 second.
It's on my resume now.
This is why she says Etsy is her hobby, because the rest of her time is taken up.
I have another full-time job that I can't disclose.
God. But it's actually a full-time job. And like, when I was like helping my friend on there, I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm bored. It's actually fun to like fuck around with people and to see who's willing to give you money for like.
No, and it's really fun when you don't have to fuck the old man.
Yeah. It's so much fun, of course.
Well, there's like,
it's so fun when my friend's fucking the old man.
I like to do the messaging.
I'm sorry. When I started doing this for her, I was like, I'm sorry, but like, I need a percentage because this is a lot of fucking work.
Bitch, spread those legs, then you get a fucking percentage.
No. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you want your cut? Open up.
Yeah.
No. Actually,
you think your
the
fingers
hardest
are tired?
part,
her fingers
no,
are
but
tired.
actually, like, the hardest part is really just like finding a guy who's not gonna actually be a creep, who's willing to give you what you want, who actually is gonna be
you're
normal.
on the wrong site.
True. You are on the wrong site. That is why it did not work for her.
You have to take advantage of the creeps. No, it's the creeps that are so embarrassed by they're like, but it's not that I don't like coming between little toes, but I can't choose it. This is what happened to me. And you're like, no, I know no one else is going to accept this. You're lucky I do. That's $800 and I won't tell your mother.
But I feel like a lot of sugar daddy dating and like seeking arrangements, I think a lot of it, and why it's always never worked for me, it's because it's like very like a web of lies, kind of. Like you always have to like change around your life and you're always this different person. And like you're saying, oh, you have exams, but you don't actually go to school. And it's like, you have to build this persona.
No, I've never had. I could actually just say like, oh, I've literally been sleeping in since the last time you messaged me 3 days ago. And they're still like, babe, that sounds so hot.
But I know what you mean.
The issue with sugar daddies is that most of them are Splenda daddies. That shit's low cal and low budget, and they want to call themselves what they want to call themselves. And the truth is, they're like,
yeah,
and it's just as much as a normal boyfriend. So you're not a sugar daddy.
Yeah, and also when I was on it, and I was like, there's a lot of people on it who put net worths that they don't have, and like they're just there and they literally have no money. They're just fucking around. And like, let me tell you, when I was on that site for my friend with a name like
I love the for my friend.
No,
yeah.
If anybody knows me though, it's not even to be like, honestly, if I had the character to be able to do it, I would 100% do it, because I'm not the type of person to judge anybody. I just feel like I come to Veronica's house at night and I'm literally scared of my own shadow. I'm making her boyfriend come to get me down. Like, I'm so scared and paranoid of everything.
I wish we had a child together that we could exploit, because I've got the character and you've got the look.
You have the looks, babe.
I just wanted to say like one little serious thing is like I know a lot of friends who've been through this, and like they start like, it's such like a trend, and like sugar daddies and seeking arrangement, and everybody goes on there, and then like it's just not for them. Like they started off in this place where they're like, I need money, and okay, I'm just gonna do it, and I'm just gonna do okay, I'm just gonna go on a date, and I'm just gonna sleep with him or whatever, and then they're like super depressed after, and like not like it actually puts them down. Whereas I feel like if something is not making you feel good about yourself, you shouldn't do it. So if anybody here is listening and was ever thinking about starting seeking arrangements, but you were just like so like over the fence and you had so many like cons about it, like I don't think it'll benefit you. I think it's something you have to go in. By the way,
I know we're
like,
sponsored by Seeking Arrangements from this podcast.
No, yeah, Seeking Arrangements.
I totally agree though, and I have to say that I actually went on it not knowing what the site was and kind of doing it out of my like.
You're like, is this Etsy? This is
what
Etsy?
do you mean not knowing?
No, I was totally alone.
Is this where you sell vintage?
I don't have any.
Were you like vintage.com and like?
No, it was like vintagemen.com. No.
And then you're like,
I still to this day I have no friends on it.
How do you?
It was not a fun group thing. I really went into it just thinking like, because of like I dated older guys and I kind of like knew something about it, but I found this site and it's only now that I'm hearing the name come up and I'm like, okay, wow, like the last like couple years or whatever. But it's like when I went on it, like I'm like 26 now. When I did it, it was like but okay, I was legal, but I was a teenager.
Yeah. But I think that's when it was most authentic. I think now it's like way over like just overused, and like everybody's on it, and people who aren't ready to be sugar daddies, and people who sugar daddies, and people who aren't ready to be sugar babies. And I think that's a problem, because I think it's like realistically there's like a lot of people that do this as a job. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like there's people that like hustle people all the time,
because I don't know how anyone can maintain this as like their job.
It's serious shit, but it's just like I feel like now what it is just like not good. But
I think like it depends also like who you fall upon. Like I had a friend who was literally like, he's like, I don't want to see you, I don't want anything. He just wanted to be her slave and just wanted to bring her packages at her door. At that point, it's like, listen, I don't care what kind of fucking morals you have.
I want to date the UPS guy too.
No, you fucking, if he wants to be your slave and bring you shit at your house and you don't even have to fucking say hi to him.
Can I start ordering packages for my boyfriend too?
No, literally. Like, are you kidding?
You say, here's my keys, clean my house.
Yeah, but I think that's the huge misconception, is a lot of people think that they also don't have to do much to get. Yeah, and it's like, listen, that's 1%
for some people, and it doesn't. Like, I wasn't in a desperate situation, so I just kind of like ignored what I wanted to ignore and partook in what I wanted to.
And you got to sick your up tip
if you start thinking, I paid for a lot from these like losers that just wanted to have dinner with me. Can't even get my friends to have dinner with me. But it's like, but there's some people that go into it and they're like, I'll do any. And I've heard of girls that like literally like, I'm not even saying give themselves like physically, but just like everything.
Yeah.
And get nothing out of it.
I think you also have to have such a great personality to go on there and be super like understanding and
a
talk
lot of it,
and like,
as surprising as you like, it may seem that everything's secret. I went out with guys that were like, they wanted a public person to go on a date with them.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I was like, oh,
guys
like an escort. No. They wanted me to be modest and just talk and like, no, I just thought you would like coming with me and whatever. It was like, this isn't what I thought. They wanted like a real date.
While they had wives?
Some yes, some no.
But I mean, it's also an ego thing, like for guys, like especially older men, to go out with like a younger, pretty girl. Like for them, it's like, and to be seen, it's like wow, like they feel so good about themselves,
and they don't
don't
want to walk around with escorts. They don't want it. They want like someone that's
a human.
They're gonna bring to a party and like she's gonna have a conversation. People are gonna go, I love that girl you brought. Like,
exactly. They want somebody to show off and not only for eye candy, like also to be like, look at who I picked up. Like she's like a genuinely good girl, and like. That's what makes you valuable.
Bring a pretty girl to a party.
If they want an escort, they're going to call an escort. I think it's a completely different thing. Totally different thing. I agree. Yeah. Like, it's very, very different. And it's also a lot more, like, relationship-based, where, like, you actually have to put effort. You have to, like, make conversation. Like, if they want somebody to sit beside them and sip a drink,
it's too much work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You're having a relationship. Like, even if it's not authentic on your part, which half the time
Did you put actual pictures of yourself on there? Or
I did, but under like a private alias. But since then, I've seen pictures of myself on there, and I've had them sent to me that are just from like my Instagram that were never posted on there and stuff. So I've have had people like use my pictures on there.
As you?
No, they have different names and stuff.
Like they faked an account with your pictures.
Like I've had pictures sent to me of like, that, and I'm like, that's not my profile. And
you're
it's
like, that's not my profile.
My Instagram picture is on there, but
you're
not like.
You're like, that's not my profile, but if there's any good sugar daddies,
10%
forward. Yeah, literally royalty fees for using my fucking face.
Royalty fees.
Like, hold on a minute. Yes. I'm not saying you can't use it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
My PayPal is. Obviously not Rachel, because that's not the name I use.
Yeah. Okay, so you said your worst experience, clearly. Sweaty, bald
I don't think that's worst experience. I think there is definitely worse experience that you had in seeking arrangements.
Like for her, she's saying
was that your worst experience?
Was that your worst experience?
It was a very neutral experience. I don't think
Ellen
if anything
DeGeneres
that was
said
like super.
11 a.m.
Yeah, it was just like, but like I think if anything was worse, I just never continued it.
Okay,
I don't know how to say it. Like if I went on a date with someone, the guy was like totally weird and stuff. Like I said, I wasn't
money,
desperate.
Start the car.
No, not even. I would just be like, I would leave after a drink. Like it wasn't.
Yeah,
you know.
I think it's smart.
I think what's great.
It was like normal online dating in a way.
I think what's great is that you went on there, but you also weren't gonna like sacrifice who you were, and you weren't gonna like lower your standards. You're like, hey, if I'm gonna do this, I want to have like an actual genuine relationship with somebody.
Not even. I went out of curiosity, and those like genuine relationships were like not. my last boyfriend I did meet on there.
And then you guys started dating.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about this a bit.
So that was really out of the blue.
What happens when somebody says, "Oh my gosh, how'd you guys meet?" What do you say?
Honestly, I think for the longest time we like made up a lot of stuff. This was like we were dating for a couple of years, so I think we said like we met at a restaurant, which was like the first restaurant we met at, but not online. I think a few people he had like said that like, oh, I met her online or whatever, but people didn't really think much of it.
Yeah.
But how does it work? Because I heard that like when you actually start seeing somebody from seeking arrangements and like it's no longer on kind of like every time I see you, I give you this much allowance. It starts to be like they start being like they don't give you as much. That's what I heard.
Well, okay, so at first it kind of was, but it wasn't so much. Like I think he was uncomfortable with that whole like exchange thing,
which I get.
So it was just kind of like randomly, like we went on 2 dates. We went on one date. Second date, like it was at this like event thing, and like I brought a friend, and like he paid for us to go, like or whatever. It wasn't like, and then after that, it was just certain things like, oh, I want to see you, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm working this weekend. At that point, I was doing like, and he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll pay your whole week. Like,
to see you.
Don't go into work for 2 days, and I'll pay your whole week. Like, can you talk without you getting in trouble? Can you? So, okay. I mean, I'll try.
I can check to see if I can get my
and then at that point, it was just like I really didn't expect this, and we really did like we were totally into each other, and it was just like things like that. He was like, "Okay, well, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, okay, well, you're doing this, so well, here's money towards that."
Right.
And it just
was
became
more like natural.
It was like
it was less of like here's.
It wasn't
allowance.
like an equal, like a boyfriend that had an equal salary that was like, I'll get dinner this time. It was like he did pay for everything while dating, but then there was just other things of like.
But it still felt more natural than it's
your. Oh yeah, because it wasn't because I wasn't seeing him just because of that, and vice versa. It was more like, oh, I saw him, and this weekend, you know, he's like. What are you paying for your cell phone or whatever? And I'm like, oh, I pay this, but like I'm changing my cell phone plan, but my last one's like, okay, here's that, and here's like, oh,
okay, so what
you need new
it was more
you need new ski boots. Here's that.
But what happens when, let's say, you said you dated him for a couple of years? So like, what happens like? After you kind of like get over the honeymoon stage, like how does it work? Like, is he still paying you, or is it just a relationship?
No, I'm totally in love. I'm begging for his love, and he's not paying shit.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
Yeah. I'm a
you dip them after 2 months.
I'm a romantic. I'm like at the end, it's like you don't have to do shit. Now I'm in love with you. I love who you are. And aren't you fucking lucky?
Aren't you fucking lucky I'll pay my own cell phone bill?
Like, I always, you know what? And I always did. Like those, it was never like, oh, okay, I need you to survive or whatever. Yeah. It was just like, I need you or else my heart's going to crash.
Aww. But I feel like at that point, like, even when it's not money, you guys are both like, you're having like a two-sided relationship where you're both getting something out of it. Do you know what I mean?
It
like,
was totally like, I can't even like, it wasn't even in that sense of like company and stuff. Because honestly, half the time I think he gave me more company. It was like, it really was like a full blown, and that was like my only relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't have much to compare it to, and like, you know, it might sound crazy or whatever, but it was like a full blown, like, there's no one in my life, no best friend or anything that I've been more honest with.
Yeah.
And like families have met or whatever. It was just like a complete normalcy. And to think of like how we initially met, never in my wildest
Did you guys
dreams.
ever speak about it?
Yeah, like
was
he
ever
time.
like why were you on this?
No, I think because it just became such a like we literally when we first met, I want to say I think we spent the first week like separate, and after that it just became it was natural. I can't even explain it. It was such a natural thing.
It was a relationship.
It was a total relationship. He swept me under my feet, whatever you want to say, off my feet. And it was just like, it totally became like a normal thing. And so I had a hard time like seeing like the outside world's going to see that I'm dating this older man, whatever. And even his family too. And on his side, like we really like family, friends, everyone got very like,
yeah, and that's why
there
I
was
feel like
nothing secret.
when I met Rachel at Oysterfest and she was with her boyfriend at the time, and just picture yourself like being at work and meeting this like innocent girl, and then you see her at like Oysterfest. Not saying you're not innocent, but I'm not gonna lie, on Tuesday I was like, hey, wait, like, is this her actual boyfriend? Like, is this her sugar daddy? Because like I commend both, like I don't give a shit, but I was just so curious. I was like, hey, gotta be best friends with her, I gotta figure this out.
So there you have it. That's why she's friends with you, was all to figure it out. And now we know. Thanks, Rachel. You could go. No, I'm kidding. But I feel like that must have happened so many times where like there's like that awkwardness, but it's like to be expected in a situation like that. And I mean, like every thing always has an awkward point, and
I never got a chance to like adjust to it because I didn't go into it thinking anything. I literally thought of it as one thing, and then it randomly, organically turned into something that there was no like people gave me bad, dirty looks or this is this. It didn't even register like because I didn't feel that. I didn't feel. And you know what? I could have dated a guy, and I have 10 years younger than him, and felt more awkward in public with this man than I did with my boyfriend.
For sure. At the end of the day, it's really how somebody makes you feel. I felt
nothing. And the only time is like sometimes like we're both in the bathroom getting ready, brushing our teeth to go out, and we're talking about our night, and we're like, and then I see the difference of like I look at him, then I look at me, and I'm like, oh, what wrinkles was I complaining about?
And then he puts his dentures on, and you're like, okay, I see the age difference now.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's why the oral was so good. Teeth out.
But I do think though, like obviously when you love somebody, you never think about them in like a negative light, and you never think like negative things around your relationship. You're just like,
I actually hated them sometimes.
No, but I mean like when you love, as we all do. Yeah. But I'm saying when you like love somebody, you're like not thinking about like bad things, like you're just like having a good time.
It was so
you're
like,
not like, oh, what is everybody thinking?
It was like being a kid in love almost.
Yeah, which is awesome.
I can, like, compare it to. I was an adult, but I was like blindsided. I didn't see it coming. And like I really didn't like overanalyze it.
I don't really want to get into like what like your like, because you were saying that your parents had met him, like what did they think? Like were they like,
I think my parents had always kind of known that I had dated older guys. I never like brought boys home from school. I was never like interested in one.
Right. And I think were they like Rachel, like he's a little.
I hid it for a while, and then at one point when I realized like, okay, this is not the kind of relationship I thought I was hiding. Like this is actually something real. I was very open with it, but it took a little while for me to initially do that like introduction, and then when I did, honestly, like he still like. I spoke to him like a few days ago, and he's so fond of my mother. Like, he's like, "Oh, I love your mom," and like, you know,
they connect on a level you're still not there on.
no, but they all like, you know, like my dad's met him a few times. He was my date to my mom's wedding. Like,
she left one daddy to go straight to another. She said, "Daddy, you can't pay my phone bill forever. I gotta find myself another daddy," and that's what I did.
And there you found him.
And then she fell in love, and he
still
said,
paying my phone
bill's on you.
No, I'm still been paying my phone bill. Would love to not to, but.
So if you're listening,
if anybody wants to cover the Rogers bill. But I wanted to say, like you were saying, you've always kind of like been into older guys anyway. So for you, it was just like, you're just like, heck, like why don't I make a couple of bucks out of this?
No, but actually, like if like older men was my thing, like are you kidding me? I'd be on Seeking Arrangement.
I remember I always had this friend when I was younger, and I'm talking like high school, like we were like 16, and she used to literally like always talk about how everybody's dad was hot, and I was like, hey ma'am, you need a sugar daddy, and that's all. Yeah. And I wish I could be you, because then it'd be so much easier. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I feel sad for the people who are like, hate, like, that, like, are doing something they're not happy doing. Like, I'm like, praise the people that are like, I'm okay doing this makes me feel good. Then it's like, do it. But if you're like,
I don't think there's a lot of girls. I think they'll go into initial dates or whatever. Sorry, what was that going? They'll go into initial dates or whatever, but I really do think that it weeds out the weak. Yeah. So I don't think that there's girls that are really doing it that are like, I hate this. Yeah. I think even less than anything like stripping or anything. I think like really you're like faint of heart you're out of there.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things because it's emotional and not emotional. Like, you don't have to be emotionally attached. I wasn't emotionally attached.
But I can see how some girls
it's psychological.
can.
You really have to work it. It's not like
That's insane.
You
That's
get
what I'm
drunk
saying
and the
before.
guy's drunk and you're dancing on stage. Not to, like, put anything down about, like, strippers or whatever. But this is, like, feigning, like, interest.
Yeah.
Like, to the point of, like, not like, hi, and then I'm going back to my thing. It's like, no, you're sitting across from someone at a dinner table. You're
the, like, I'm the
engaging.
classiest girl ever, but I also gotta drive 50 minutes back to Laval. So how does that work?
But
She's
like
living a double life, essentially.
Hannah Montana, I do think though, like it, like I was saying before, how like maybe you don't spin lies and stuff, but I do think it's like it's like a lot of work, like mentally. Like you really have to play the part and be engaged. And you can't just fake interest. Like you actually have to like act interested, like sell it. Because if they want somebody to fake interest, they're gonna pay a prostitute to sit across from them. You know what
Honestly,
I mean? Escort, whatever the proper term is.
I really took myself out of a lot of situations where I just listened to people and I just thought of it as like, what if I'm just listening to another human story? And I kind of miss it in the sense because at one point it was like I got to meet these people that I would never randomly meet in my life.
Yeah.
And I got to listen to stories, and like as much as people think like, oh, they talk about whatever, there's some people I met that I was just like really like interested in like how they see their life and why they're lonely and why different things, and like you come from money, you have this, but you're so sad or you're so whatever, and like their travel experiences or whatever. So a lot of it was just like genuine interest of like learning about different people, and it just like happened to like work out in the sense that they were happy to have someone listen to them as well.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I feel like you can learn a lot of cool things just by listening. At the end of the day, like everybody is a person and everybody has stories, and like
you can sit down on a bench and a random person sits next to you, and who is to say that their story's not interesting? It doesn't matter.
Like, you know what I mean? Like just because you met them on a technically like sugar daddy dating site, it's like they can still be interesting. They can still have cool things to say. Like, so I think it's like a cool experience, and especially for you that it was like empowering and like you had fun doing it and you ended up finding love through it. It's like such a, I feel like a really positive experience in all. Would you say like you had a great time doing it?
You're like, I still hate him, but yeah, positive.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think at one point, like you have to go into it in a way that's super like confident and secure with yourself in order to not get broken. But that's like in anything. That's applying to jobs. That's anything. You have to be strong within yourself, but vulnerable enough to know that like every person you meet, when you're walking down the like down the sidewalk, telling yourself like, "Oh, I'm so strong, I'm confident," you're walking by normal human beings. Yeah, and you have to know that like you can be confident with yourself, but everyone is a different person. Yeah, and everyone has their own stories. Yeah, and if like that's what got me through most dating is just like going on a date and saying, listen, it works, it doesn't work. I met another human being and I listened to their stories, and at the end of the day, and I feel less in my head. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And you're like, and it also helped that I was, cashing in as well, which is always fun. Yeah. Doing everything and making money is great. Meeting people. I mean, fuck, I speak to Alessia every week and I do it for free, so crazy. Maybe you should start paying me, Alessia.
We keep talking, and this podcast is putting us in the negatives. I just want everybody to know that.
Like I said, we can have an arrangement if you want to transfer me. And, I'm a good talker. I'm a sweet talker. But I'm not into younger women. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Last time I checked, I'm older than you.
It's true. Whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm the 20-year-old. That's why it's episode 20.
How old are you? 20?
I'm 23.
23.
But like a lot of people don't know that.
Us for the first time?
No, so like don't say my age. I'm a big liar about my age. I'm always like shy. I actually have like the opposite problem of thinking like I always think I'm too young for everyone. Like when I've dated older guys in the past, like I would always like lie about my age, even though they were dating me because I was young and fresh out the fucking womb. But I was like, no, like I'm actually this age.
It's so funny. I find like before I turned 21, I was always lying about my age. I was always trying to be older. Yeah. I think that's a thing. When you're young, you want to always be older to feel like more like, I don't know, mature. And then when you get to a certain age, that's when you start fucking lying. And I don't know, but I'm starting to feel like I'm getting at that age where I'm like, okay, 25, we can calm it down.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I don't lie anymore.
No,
and,
obviously, but
like there was time, like I swear when I was like, when I would be dating and if there was like seeing an older guy or whatever, I always like had this need that I had to like minimize the gap between us. And I remember I was seeing this guy at one point, and like at the beginning, obviously when you meet somebody, you never know where the relationship is going to end up. Do you know what I mean? So like
clearly.
Fuck, crazy. So like I met this guy and like he asked me my age, and I like, I just bumped it up a little, same way I bumped down my weight. You just add a couple of numbers, subtract a couple of numbers. But so I met him, I just, bumped it up. And then we had gone on a date like later on, like we were seeing each other, and we went to like the ski hill, and they had to like put in all our information to make our account to buy our pass. And this was like, once they got to birthday, I went, okay, like, do I say my fake birthday? I don't even know how to calculate that fast. What year I should be born to be the age that I was.
All this information to ski.
It was
literally.
I was like, hold on a minute.
Where
do
were
my
you?
social insurance number? Like, what the fuck?
They had to know that in case they were sending rescue dogs
I don't even
out
know,
to you.
but it was like, why are you asking my birthday? Like, I almost pulled a bitch fit and say like, no, you don't need to know. Anyways, I said my birthday, and then he said his birthday, and then we both were very silent on the ski hill up. And we both went, cool. So,
I think it was more you.
So you're
silent.
5, and
was
I'm
like,
100.
I'm happy. The younger you are, that's what we don't know when we're young.
Like, I'm like, I'm 5.
Can
like,
I
he's
know
probably
what
thinking
the age,
I'm 100.
What were the ages?
I was, like I said, 3 years old, and he was 100. But like, no, I'm joking. I was like 22. I was 22 because it was last year. I was 22, and I don't remember, but he was in his 40s, and I just remember being like, I'm 4.
Yeah.
Like, you're babysitting me. Like,
40
you're my
is not
ski
even
instructor.
that bad. Like,
Yeah.
No, but I just like when it's so
it's a prime time for men. They start getting salt and pepper hair.
Yeah, but you don't want to have the age talk.
They're
and
a
you don't
daddy.
You don't want to see.
Men are like 40. They're just starting.
No, I know.
It's true. Men
I
age like fine wine.
don't
Women,
think,
on the other hand,
stinky cheese.
I don't think it's a huge gap, but I just think like
no, I get it.
Both saying your birth years beside each other. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, you were in the war and I wasn't. So like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Like, you had colored photos and I had fucking digital.
And I love Vietnamese food.
Oh my god. Okay, this is so funny. It's a little off topic, but I just had to share this because it's just 2 jokes.
Alessia always throws in her off-topic stories.
Well, no, because it's just so funny, and you actually don't even know the story. So,
why don't I know the story?
because I didn't tell you, I figured
Okay.
save it for the podcast. Get the
I
real
think
reaction.
No, she just said this before that she had a story to tell us.
Yeah. You know it, and don't spoil it. You always know I wanted like a pair of open toe black sandal heels. Mine just broke, so I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go ahead and like buy the store at Weitzman's. They were the ones I wanted, and I was telling my boyfriend about it, hinting it. And then all of a sudden, so he follows his ex-girlfriend on Instagram, okay? And what
His
are the
ex-girlfriend?
He follows his ex-girlfriend on Instagram. I haven't harassed him for that yet. No, but
Okay.
whatever. She's married. She's super nice. I've met her a long time. Like, it was like high school. You know what I mean?
Doesn't count.
Anyway, it doesn't count. It does count, but you know what I mean?
Well, we'll forget
we
about it.
can't start being crazy. So she posted on her Instagram that she was selling a new pair of shoes that she wore once. And what are the odds? It happens to be these shoes that I want, to the half size that I need. And
She has
like
the type.
And like the price was like amazing. So I was like, well, it's a bit like, I'm sorry, but I want these shoes. Like,
You really said sloppy seconds. Like,
I said
When
no,
she bought
I
those,
said,
I
I was
said,
like,
oh, we were taking all her leftovers.
you said I'm taking your man's and your
I'm like,
shoes.
can I go? I'm like, babe, I just want to know when I go pick up the shoes, can I say like, how many hand-me-downs am I going to take from you?
I said,
And I was
she's
like-
married. Did you meet the husband? Because he's your next husband.
Oh my God, so bad. But yeah, let me tell you, she's super nice though, but I was just like, can I make that joke? Like, how does that work?
She's wearing-
wait, I forgot
She's
to mention.
wearing her panties now.
I forgot to mention when I said, oh, if you don't mind just sending me the address, she goes, well, it's right next to Josh's mother's house. I yelled, I'm like, this is my type of fucking savage girl. I love her already. But also, I'm sorry.
Babe, they're already in Josh's room. I left them there for you.
She's like, babe, like, don't worry. I had the key. I dropped them off.
Can you just tell Josh that his last salmon dish was delicious?
Oh my God.
Also, the shoes are on the floor. One might be under the bed.
Babe, like, I'm at his mom's house right now. We're having coffee. Just pass by. Like, come and see us.
She likes me better than you.
But I was just dead. I was like, I have to share that story because it's 2 jokes.
Oh my God. Crazy. Thank you.
So basically, guys, I take hand-me-downs from more than fucking Kijiji.
Ex-girlfriends and, boyfriends included.
My God. Let me tell
Crazy.
you. You'll do anything for those shoes or bags.
Clearly, we'll do anything for a little extra cash.
Oh
if you
my
know what
God.
I mean. You're like, do I know what you mean?
Yeah.
You're like, I saved money. Okay, she's a sugar baby. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Perfect. So we all got the joke. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much,
Thank you for coming,
on the
Rachel.
show.
I mean, it takes I feel like it's not something that a lot of people really speak about. And it's just, I feel like you're so natural about it. And I just feel like this world needs more Rachels out there that are more real and authentic and just say it how it is.
You know what? At the end of the day, life is fucking short. And if something could be cool and exciting, fucking try it. Because if not,
your life will pass you and then you're a granny and you're too late for that fucking site.
You know Do it while you're hot,
You're going to be
guys.
90
Do it while
saying,
you're hot.
Yeah.
oh, I wish I tried that. And you know
Yeah.
what? Nothing defines anyone. And just fucking live. I don't know.
Do
Basically, what she's trying to say is be a sugar baby before you're a sugar mama. So
Do it.
On that note.
Do it.
thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me, guys.